Time for KP's Video News. KP's Video News, y'all. KP's Video News, y'all. KP's Video News, y'all. Right.
That's right, folks. It's time for KP's Video News. And as I always say, I'm bringing it to you real, bringing it to you raw. Today I'm gonna focus on stories, a few stories here about black athletes. I've been kind of getting stuck on this a little here lately, pertaining to most of the black females from all over the world, not just from the United States, that have been excluded one way or another from the Olympics. And it's a lot of other stories going on too. First of all, I'd like to give a congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning a championship. Big Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, got his first championship ring after 8 years. Let's see, who else got their first ring after 8 years? Oh, Michael Jordan got his first ring after 8 years. Oh, I think it was LeBron James got his first ring after 8 years. Okay, maybe it's an 8-year club here jumping off. But anyway, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. Uncle Thurman, you was right. Yeah, man, that was definitely a good game, and I truly enjoyed it. Truly enjoyed it. I also got a chance to watch Kareem after the game. They showed Kareem celebrate and give the Bucks their due. 50 years. It was 50 whole years since the Milwaukee Bucks had won a championship. Plus, Giannis scored 50 points last night in the game. 50-50. Okay. 50 for 50 there. I mean, if you're into all that numerology stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go on with this story here. And so we got online anonymity. And so that this is what they're saying. They're saying that online anonymity isn't what's driving the abuse of black sports stars and the systematic racism is. On Sunday, Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton, which just happens to be one of the only, I believe, the only black driver in Formula One that has been dominating Formula One for years now. There has been a champion dominating for years, and a lot of people in the United States don't even know that it's a black guy out there winning in Formula One racing, and his name is Lewis Hamilton. But anyway, he was racially abused on social media after winning the British Grand Prix, and it was just the latest in a series of obnoxious incidents where black athletes in the UK have been targeted by racists online following high-profile sporting events. How athletes themselves perform doesn't seem to matter. As a writer in the podcast, Kelechi Okafor stated, for many people of color on the internet, and especially black people, win or lose, the outcome is abuse. Doesn't even matter. Now, this guy won the British Grand Prix and received backlash from the racist public. After black soccer players drew attention to their abuse they regularly receive, several months ago, teams and players staged a 4-day boycott of social media, demanding, among other policy changes, that social media platforms implement real name policies outlawing the anonymity that allows bigots to spout their vile rhetoric online in total impunity. An online petition making that demand received almost 700,000 signatures. High-profile athletes are now raising the idea again. It might sound tempting, but outlawing online anonymity and enforcing users to prove their identities is not the secret recipe for a more respectful, equal, and prejudice-free world. Not only would it fail to eliminate racism, it would also put many people around the world at risk. For human rights defenders, lawyers, dissidents, journalists, and whistleblowers, anonymity is a shield that allows them to expose injustice and preserve the truth with a reduced risk of persecution. This week's outrageous revelations on state-sponsored surveillance issued by Israeli spyware from the NSO group and leaking of a 50,000-strong list of potential targets lays the globe scale of government's tracking out to bear. When your government is out to get you, anonymity online isn't a privilege, it's a lifeline. And if social media companies and governments force users to reveal their legal identity, it would cause severe harm, particularly to those already most at risk, such as people of color, women, and members of the LGBTQ community. For many people who have long been excluded from physical and online spaces, or who are already marginalized and targeted. Anonymity is a tool of survival. Access, so their audiences become mostly from places where merely existing outside is criminalized, and where the risk of physical attacks, whether from across state actors or neighbors, is immense. So, what are you going to do about it? Social media platforms have more to do. Automated amplification has also played a role in emphasizing incendiary content, and companies still have a long way to go to provide transparency in ranking algorithms so that we make sure as a society that hatred is not being actively promoted for clicks. Likewise, review by appropriate training of human moderators for flag content is key. We have the know-how, we just need the will. So let's stop focusing on the wrong things, blaming the internet for racism and other societal issues that predate. It is, issues that predate it is an easy way to avoid accountability. Hoping that we can Instagram our way out of racism and banning anonymous accounts or sharing a black square on our feed is techno-socialism, solutionism, and it's also, something that finally offers convenient distraction for politicians or heads of sport federation, universities, and other institutions who don't want to address the root problem, and that is systematic racism. Systematic racism is the root problem of all of these issues that are going on. So now we go on to the next attack on black. And this is Maria Taylor, and she makes an official decision on her future at ESPN. This is a brand new story. And after weeks of speculation, we finally have a conclusion to the contract dispute between Maria Taylor and ESPN. It turns out that Taylor and ESPN couldn't reach an agreement on a contract extension. As a result, Taylor's last assignment for the worldwide leader in sports was to host last night's game 6 of the NBA Finals, and she was on there with Jalen Rose, and there was some other guys that she was on there with. She has been the one that was sitting at the desk with Jalen Rose before, during half times and after the games. And on Wednesday morning, today, Taylor released a statement on her time at ESPN. She seems very grateful for all the memories and look forward to her next chapter of her career. And what she stated was, so thankful to Jimmy and all the great teammates and friends at the SEC Network, College Game Day, Women and Men's College Basketball, the NBA Countdown family, to all the people who believed in me, encouraged me, pushed me, and lifted me up, Taylor said via ESPN press room. Words are inadequate to express my boundless appreciation, and I hope to make them proud. ESPN Chairman Jimmy Pitaro also commented on the situation. Maria's remarkable success speaks directly to her abilities to work and work ethic. There's no doubt we will miss Maria, but we remain determined to continue to build a deep and skilled talent roster through that thoroughly reflects the athletes we cover and the fans we serve. While she chose to pursue a new opportunity, we are proud of the work we've done together. And according to the latest post, Maria is expected to cut a deal with NBC. So if the deal gets done soon, Taylor could be at the Olympics coming up for NBC. And so she made her official decision today to leave ESPN, and I will definitely miss you. Okay. Branching out, and then, to piggyback off that story, here's another story that's related to that. And so this is NPR, and they got roasted for announcing Maria Taylor is leaving ESPN with a photo of Kimberly Martin. So they just chose a random black woman. Oh, come on, man. After being reported for weeks, ESPN host and Maria Taylor released a joint announcement today stating that both sides were unable to reach a new contract agreement. NPR, so-called news media, aggravated the whole situation, but they did so with an epic blunder, using a photo of Taylor's ESPN colleague, Kimberly Martin. Martin tweeted a screenshot of the mistake, promising that the photo of NCR used is of her, not the departing Maria Taylor, said. So NPR has corrected the error and apologized, chalking up the mistake to an incorrect AP caption. Because of the error in AP caption, the most previously featured ESPN reporter Kimberly Martin instead of Maria Taylor. We apologize for the error. Yada, yada, yada. All the way back to that now, huh? We all look alike. Okay. So, moving on to the next story here. Let me move on to this next story. They got an elderly man that was found dead in his apartment building, and he had the words, "I touch little girls," written on his chest. This is a new story. A man was found deceased in New York City borough, Staten Island, on Monday with the words, "I touch little girls," spelled out on his chest. 2 additional messages were found on the man's body, according to the local police. One read, "I take dolls in my room for girls age 1 to 5," was found written on his stomach. Authorities also found a shorter message on the deceased man's foot, which read, "I touch." Authorities confirmed the contents of the messages and their locations on the man's body, and reported earlier Tuesday on the discovery that the deceased individual and the messages that the paper said were written in black on his body. While the local media outlets reported the deceased man was believed to be in his 70s or 80s, the NYPD did not confirm the man's estimated age, but did identify the person was an adult male, and the deceased male's name was being withheld until the police could notify his family members. And police also stated that officers received a call about an unconscious individual shortly after 9:30 a.m. local time. The officers responded to an apartment building northeast of Silver Lake Reservoir in Staten Island. And once the officers got there, they stated that the person was unresponsive at their time of arrival. And his cause of expiration is expected to be assessed and identified by the New York City medical examiner. In the meantime, authorities say everything is under investigation. It's been under investigation. So, on to the next story. We got an ex-drug dealer and an informant sues the Detroit Police Department and FBI agents for $100 million. A former convicted drug dealer and FBI informant is suing the Detroit Police Department and several retired FBI agents, alleging that he was coerced into helping authorities, according to the reports. In the lawsuit filed in federal court, Richard Hirsch Jr. alleges that the Local police and federal authorities pressured him into becoming an informant, sending him into operations before abandoning him when he faced legal issues. Worsh's life was an inspiration for the film 2018. This is White Boy Rick. Okay, it's White Boy Rick. Which, so in a statement, Worsh asserted the justice system hasn't worked in his favor. This needed to be done. The truth absolutely needed to be told. Everything that we say will be backed up by documents and FBI agents, Worsh said. His attorney acknowledged that the parties named in the lawsuit will argue that his client's claims are too old to bring up in court. But Worsh, 52, served nearly 30 years in prison before he was released in 2017. And like I said, they made a movie about him. This is a real guy, White Boy Rick, that was an alleged drug dealer that hung out with a bunch of black guys in Detroit. And so he served, like I said, 30 years in prison and was released in 2017. And then he served additional time in a Florida prison for an unrelated crime. Worsh, whose nickname was White Boy Rick, is seeking $100 million in damage. And the Detroit Police Department declined to comment on the litigation. Wow, White Boy Rick trying to get paid, man. Trying to get paid, Jack. He's claiming they forced him to become an informant. And this another story. It's another story here. And this is a brand new story, and it's a racist thing. They're like mourning people that are over there mourning and crying. So this is this blast south of South Africa vigilantism. And loud sobs drowned out dirges sounding from speakers as flower-covered coffin arrived for a funeral service in South Africa Township, where locals of Indian descent clashed with black counterparts during recent riots. The coffin carried the remains of Diamali, 31-year-old father of 11, who was killed in an adjacent town of Phoenix on July 12th, allegedly by a group of South African Indians residents manning a roadblock. Wearing an elegant black dress and sequin-lined hat, his sister, Linda Diamali, said the black taxi driver was shot dead in Phoenix by Indians standing guard against looters. Like communities in parts of the country hit by unrest, residents of the predominantly ethnic Indian towns set up their own protection squads in response to pillaging and arson that broke out days after the jailing of ex-President Jacob Zuma on July 8th, overwhelming security forces. Some of these grassroots mobilizations turned violent, and in Phoenix they led to allegations of racism after at least 20 blacks were reportedly dead last week. Diamali was intercepted by vigilantes while accompanying friends on an errand in Phoenix, his sister said. At first they didn't notice in Balu because he was sleeping at the back of the vehicle. 37-year-old Diamali said, dabbing her eyes, he woke up and ran but was shot in the head. After that, they continued to beat him. He had so many scars, even in the head. By the time the police intervened, the attackers were preparing, to set Diamali and another person. Wow, this is crazy. The pair were rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The siblings struggled to recover the body, barred by armed groups patrolling roads in the town. They had axes in their hands and told us to get back. It's a racist thing, she cried, anger flashing in her red eyes, quenched the anger. Friends and relatives filed into a small courtyard facing the modest ochre-colored house where the white tent was set up for the ceremony. The young man in a pale green suit wept uncontrollably while his fiancée stared vacantly at the ground, the small child cradled in her arms, and fellow taxi drivers gathered further up the hill, offering words of their support as they awaited the burial. And a dozen black religious leaders on Wednesdays marched into the Phoenix police station calling for the vigilantes to be brought to justice. They prayed for peace surrounded by a fleet of security forces armed to the teeth. And Bishop Dubé said that only arrest would quench the anger of the people. If we don't stop it now, it's going to exacerbate into a war, and there's no need for us to be fighting. Wow, it's Africa, man, South Africa. And I was thinking about going to South Africa for a vacation. I guess I have to rethink that. A lot of these countries are unstable, man. You know, they're stable today, and then the next day they're not. So you have to really do your homework in advance before you start taking these trips and these vacations all over the world. My passport is burning a hole in my pocket, but hey, just gonna have to wait. Gotta wait. I have got to wait. Gotta wait, folks, till everything kind of smooths out and calms down. It's KP's Video News, y'all. So don't forget, like if you look in the corner down here, it's a little corner right over here, you'll see that little arrow. Click on that arrow, and once you click on that arrow, you'll be able to subscribe to my news page. You'll be able to subscribe to my page, and then anything new comes up, you'll automatically be alerted. Please do that. Click on subscribe, share, like, comment. Please comment, and you know, good, bad, or whatever, like, dislike, hey, whatever, just do that. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
KP's Video